Look, if you're a parent, a grandparent, or maybe you're planning to head back to school yourself, you already know that paying for education is one of the most stressful financial hurdles a family can face. So welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to dive right into the absolute most effective way to outsmart those ever-rising costs. We're talking about utilizing a Virginia 529 plan to completely transform that burden into a manageable, totally tax-free strategy. Let's get right into it. $29,597. I know, it's a staggering number. But that is the massive challenge we're facing today. According to the data, that's the total average cost of college attendance for an in-state resident in Virginia for just a single year. We're talking tuition, room and board, books, supplies, the whole shebang. Multiply that by 4 years, you're staring down a massive six-figure price tag for just one child's undergraduate degree.
And here's the real kicker, right? That cost isn't just standing still. With tuition rising about 3% every single year, the absolutely crucial question for us is how to proactively build an education fund that actually keeps up, let alone gets ahead of that inflation. Because let's be real, letting your cash sit in a regular savings account at the bank simply won't cut it anymore.
So, here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll get a solid understanding of 529 plans, then look at Virginia's two specific options, figure out how to choose your strategy, walk through a step-by-step setup, and finally go over the rules and some big 2026 tax updates. Okay, moving right into part 1, understanding 529 plans. At its core, a 529 plan is simply an investment account specifically designed for education savings. It's really that simple. When you put money into this account and invest it, you maintain total control of those assets. But here is the absolute game changer: tax-free growth. Your investments compound over time, and you will never pay a dime of federal or state taxes on those earnings, as long as the money is used for qualified education expenses. Now, what's really fascinating here is how this completely shatters the old college-only stereotype. Sure, you can use these funds for a traditional 4-year university, room and board included. But the rules have massively expanded. You can use 529 funds for community college, trade schools, apprenticeships, and even professional credentialing. Got a younger kid? You can actually use up to $10,000 a year for K-12 private or religious school tuition. You can even use up to $10,000 to pay down existing student loans. And incredibly, this is a big one, if there's money left over, recent rules allow you to roll over up to $35,000 of those unused assets directly into the beneficiary's Roth IRA. That is a massive jumpstart for the retirement.
All right, let's look at Section 2, Virginia's 529 options.
So if you're ready to jump in, you basically have two distinct paths. And a quick heads up, both of these are available to U.S. citizens regardless of what state you actually live in. First up is Invest 529. This is a direct-sold, do-it-yourself online option. It is incredibly accessible because you only need a $10 minimum to start. It's got very low management fees, we're talking 0.049%, and uses top-tier funds like Vanguard and Invesco. Then you have College America. This one is advisor-sold, meaning you set it up through a licensed financial professional. It requires a $250 minimum initial contribution and invests primarily in American Funds mutual funds. Now, if you do decide to go the College America route with a financial advisor, understanding fee breakpoints is really crucial. Because it uses a mutual fund structure, investing larger sums can actually lower your percentage fee. Basically, hitting a specific threshold, say investing an additional $10,000, might trigger a discount on the fees you're paying. It's definitely a great conversation to have with your advisor if you're planning on making large lump sum contributions. Okay, moving on to Section 3, choosing your investment strategy. Once you've chosen a plan, you have to decide exactly how to invest the money inside it. For beginners, the most popular strategy, by far, is a target enrollment portfolio. Let's take the Invest 529 2042 portfolio as an example. This one is designed for a child who is currently an infant or a toddler. Because college is almost 2 decades away, it starts out pretty aggressively. Right now, it's sitting at about 81% in equities, so stocks, and 19% in fixed income, like bonds. The real beauty of this strategy is that it's completely on autopilot. As the child gets closer to college age, the portfolio automatically shifts its balance away from those risky stocks and into safer fixed income, which protects your money right when you actually need to write that tuition check. But hey, if you are a Virginia resident and the thought of stock market volatility keeps you up at night, there's a totally unique alternative for you: the Tuition Track Portfolio. This option completely ignores the stock market. Instead, your savings grow at the exact rate of average tuition increases at Virginia public colleges. It is super predictable, and even better, there are absolutely zero asset-based fees. And don't worry, Even though it tracks Virginia public tuition, you can still use the funds at private or out-of-state schools anywhere in the country. Let's get practical. Section 4. Step-by-step account setup.
Okay, time to move out of theory and into action. Let's systematically walk through how a complete beginner can open an Invest 529 account today. It is surprisingly simple, literally just 5 steps. First, head over to invest529.com and create a user profile. Second, click New Account and designate your beneficiary. This is usually your kid, a grandchild, or honestly even yourself. Third, pick your investment strategy, like the target enrollment or tuition track we just talked about. Fourth, fund the account. Remember, you only need $10 to start. And finally, step 5, review the agreement and hit submit. But listen, here is my absolute biggest tip for step 4. Set up an automatic monthly bank debit. Automating a $50 or $100 monthly transfer means your savings are going to grow effortlessly in the background without you ever having to remember to do it.
Almost done. Section 5. Rules, risks, and 2026 updates.
Before we wrap up this explainer, we definitely need to cover the legal and tax realities. Every investment has rules, right? Well, the crucial point here for Virginia taxpayers is the massive state tax deduction. You can deduct up to $4,000 per account per year from your Virginia state taxable income, and there are 0 income limits to qualify for this. Here's the fantastic strategy. Because the deduction is per account, you can actually open multiple different portfolios for the exact same child. So if you have 2 accounts for your daughter and put $4,000 into each, you can deduct $8,000 on your state return. Just keep in mind, this deduction only applies if you're using Virginia's official plans.
Now, you do need to be aware of the rules so you don't get penalized. The IRS gives you that amazing tax-free growth specifically because the money is meant for education. If you pull the money out for a non-qualified expense, say to buy a sports car or fund a vacation, you'll have to pay standard income taxes on the investment earnings, plus a strict 10% penalty on those earnings. You don't get penalized on your original contributions, just the growth, but it is for sure a significant hit you want to avoid. Looking just a bit ahead, there's some upcoming legislation known as the 2026 One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA, that's bringing some changes. Under this new act, the annual gift tax exclusion is rising to $19,000 per person. This makes 2026 a literally ideal time for grandparents to contribute large, tax-free monetary gifts to a grandchild's 529 plan without triggering any gift tax filings. These new laws are also going to tie more general tax deductions heavily to your adjusted gross income, which means multi-year tax planning, and utilizing vehicles like 529s is becoming absolutely critical for your family's overall wealth strategy. We've covered a ton of ground today, but I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. We know college costs are hovering around $30,000 a year and climbing fast, but you also know you can start an Invest 529 account today with just $10 and automate your success. The math of compounding tax-free interest is undeniable. Time is your greatest asset. Every single month you wait is a month of lost growth. So looking at the tools right in front of you, what is really holding you back from taking 5 minutes to open an account today? As always, while this explainer is designed to give you a detailed roadmap, tax laws can be highly complex, especially with those impending 2026 OBBA changes we talked about. Please be sure to consult a licensed financial advisor or a tax professional to perfectly tailor this 529 strategy to your own unique personal circumstances. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and happy saving!